Hey guys, so I know that everybody's getting everything all wrapped up and trying to put grading and all this stuff to the last things in our minds, but I wanted to do a really quick video here to show you a technique that I've been using during distance learning for grading projects that gives feedback to students using detailed rubrics in a way that's fairly fast and simple because I know that with standards-based grading, a lot of people are coming up with really complicated rubrics, and what I was doing with them is printing them up and handwriting them and giving them to students, and obviously that's a lot harder to do now. But this new system I came up with, not only is it much easier to do for distance learning, but I might just continue using it overall because it ends up saving a lot of paper and saving a lot of time. One thing I want to mention really quickly, because Mr. O'Brien and Mr. Assam would want me to say it, is that there is a way to do rubrics directly in Schoology. However, with my experience with them, they're kind of tricky. Um, you can do multiple layers of what you're grading on, but you have to set it up new for every class, and if you change something partway through, then you have to go through and completely start over. So I think that this system, especially for a lot of people who aren't as familiar with Schoology, is a little bit more robust and a little bit quicker. So the first thing I wanted to do is show you how I set up the rubric and organized it in Google Drive. This is just one example of how you can set it up. So I have it specifically here as its own demo folder for this demo instead of the original ones I made in Module 1 and Module 2. But I click into here, and you can see that I organized specific folders for each of my blocks. This is just for regular bio, because I found that made it a lot easier for me to find these rubrics later. But then this is the template that I'm going to use for each of my individual students. And ultimately, I'm going to make a copy of this for each of my students and add their name into the title of the file. So right now, there's nothing in each of these subfolders. So what I'm going to do is take my template, and you can either right-click on this, or in the file you can also do this, but I'm going to make a copy. And then I'm just going to put that copy into one of the specific block folders here. Now this is just a little trick for file organization. You notice it has this underscore underneath it at the front. That is like a little trick to get files when they organize alphabetically. If you have that underscore there, it'll always float to the top. But I just want to have that as template, like so. Okay, so let's take a look at what it looks like here. And I've shown people before how I've organized standards-based grading templates in Google Slides. I can post a copy of the original one that I came up with that you can adapt to your needs. I can also post a copy of this one if you want. But as you can see, this project, really quickly, is a project that I assigned to my genetics classes, where I asked them to investigate on their own a little bit about genetic variation and the things that cause genetic variation. And one of the things that cause genetic variation is sexual reproduction versus asexual reproduction, which is basically just cloning yourself. So I asked them to make a poster advertising the benefits of sexual reproduction for small organisms and single-celled life forms over asexual. So that was just a fun activity for them that they seemed to enjoy. Anyway, so here I have slots to enter things. I didn't bother with the date because time has no meaning. And then down here I have all of the categories that I'm looking at. This is all communication categories, how it went into PowerSchool. But then what's nice about this, and the nice thing about doing it in Google Sheets, is that it will automatically, you can set it up to automatically total by doing a simple spreadsheet, put in the equation here. So this is just equals the sum of these 5 cells. And that makes it a lot easier for me because I don't like doing simple math in my head, and typing it on a calculator takes a while. So that's what the rubric looks like. That's just one example. But now the question comes up of how do we start sorting through all these individual posters and grading it for each individual student. All right, so what I've done here is you can see I have two frames or two windows side by side on my laptop screen. It's a little bit more cramped, but I find that that's easier for doing it this way. I asked some of my students who turned in their poster for this project to basically resubmit them to this demo assignment so I can walk you through the very beginning how this works. So say I start with Cole's assignment here, or Cole's submission. I'm going to open it up on this side. You can close this sidebar to see more here. Yeah, so sometimes if it's a .ping versus a PDF, it takes a while. So you can also just do download the file. All right, so here's Cole's submission, which is sideways, but that's fine. Now on this rubric, I already have a copy. I want a copy of the template in the folder. So what I'm going to do here is within this, going to make a copy. And now I'm going to change this up here to for Cole. So we have a new copy of the template. And if we look in the initial folder, refresh this. This is my block 4A folder. And you see that now we still have a copy of the template up top because of that underscore, and then Cole's is filtered in underneath it. Okay, anyway, so let's fill this in. Okay, so now I've got the rubric right in front of me, I've got the assignment right in front of me, and it's pretty good. I told them that they could do it digitally or by hand with a clear photo. It's really nice. Talks about genetic variation and all this stuff. So I'm going to go through and click here, or scroll to the side if you want to look at this more closely. Good use of pictures, looks good. I'll just go ahead and grade this maximum all the way through because why not? One of the nice things about doing it this way, why are my things not centered? Let's fix that. So if you don't like everything sorting down to the bottom of each cell, you can align it to be in the middle, like so. All right. So notice how it's automatically tabulating. Okay, so one of the things that I like about doing it this way is, I don't know about you, but my handwriting is as bad as our students. So sometimes when I try to leave specific comments on things, it's a bunch of scribbles and they come up to me and be like, what does this say? And I'm like, I don't even remember because that looks horrible. So luckily I can write much faster than, I can type much faster than I can write, and it comes out more clearly. So here I can type in some things like very nice hand-drawn pictures, nice clear text, layout is nice and clear layout, good headline, nice summary. Great. So it has all the comments there, has all the score. Now what I've been doing with this is I'm going to close this image here and go back to Schoology. So what I've been doing is I enter the score directly into Schoology, but alternately you could also have a window open here that's PowerSchool, and you can enter the score directly into PowerSchool. If you enter it in Schoology, you'll need to sync it later. So I entered that here, and now with this rubric, well, I'm pretty much done with it. I've got the score entered and recorded, but Cole needs to take a look at it. So I'm going to go to Share, Can View, so that's view only. I mean, he can't come and edit it and change his grade. And if you just start typing the name, it'll automatically pop up there. Good job. Thanks for the help on video. I'll send you the link later. And then send. Cool. So now he has been sent an email into his inbox with a link to this so he can come and take a look at it, see what the breakdown is, see what the comments are. And now I can go on to grading the next student. So clicking in Schoology here to the right brings me to Diego Hernandez. And now, but I need a copy of this template from him. So I can either go to the original template, or to save time, sometimes I just from here, I'll go File, where is it? Make a copy. close Coles. And here we have a new one here with for the next student. The last name there reminds me that I need to go down here to change the name. Just give some time. I can scroll over here, delete these, and now I'm ready to start a new one. Okay. If we go back to the folder here in Google Drive, if I refresh this, you'll see that all of these rubrics are populating one by one alphabetically. Once I've sent them the link for them to view themselves, I really don't need to go back again, unless, let's say, one student, and I actually had to do this, I send a rubric to a student and on his poster, and he reviewed it and said, oh, can I try another revision? And I was like, yeah, sure. So when he sent me his updated revision, all I had to do was go into his previous rubric, see what he did before, and see, oh, okay, I wanted you to work on X, Y, and Z. Then I was able to copy this whole thing. I'll make this big so we see it better. Copy the previous rubric, paste it down again, delete the previous scores, and now I can regrade it as the new thing. And so I'll be like, second revision attempt. And you can see easily whatever the new scores are and the new comments and how they have improved on the previous one. Generally, I share it with them again so that they know to look at it and see why the score may have gone up specifically, instead of just seeing, oh, I got more points. Well, here's why. Anyway, so that's just one example of how you can use the collaborative document features of Google Sheets or Google Document. This would work the same way if you prefer working in Google Docs instead of Google Sheets. Send the files to the students so that they can view it and enter the grades separately, either in Schoology or in PowerSchool, and be able to update it rapidly if you need to go back and add revisions. So play around with that, and if you want some more information or copies of anything that I've done, I'll be happy to share.